Welcome to Trash Anime Reviews, the show where we review trash anime. Ah yes, the Harem Magic High School category, one of my favorites. In this show, Chivalry of a Failed Knight, we follow Ikki, the lowest ranked blazer / student in his school, as he climbs to be number one on the rankings. Now, this OP, low-key fire. The trumpet, guitar, and crash cymbals complement each other very well. I'll play a bit right here. Episode 1. We open up on episode 1 with our main man Ikki with the sticky dicky coming back from his morning routine, only to find out his new roommate is changing and is the fiery rank A Stella Vermilion, a princess of a foreign land. Now, violence ensues, and to settle the roommate debacle, a mock battle is arranged, with the loser obeying the victor's every command. Now, both Stella and Ikki have worked very hard up to this battle, and both are putting their pride on the line. And Ikki wins. It's explained because he doesn't fight like a normal student, using his specialized technique, Ito Shura, temporarily boosting physical capabilities, but we all know it's the plot armor. Nevertheless, we're shown Stella post-fight, and after a chat with the principal, we're told that Ikki has little magic, but supplements it with actual training. You think more people would do that, but I guess just like real life, people are lazy. Makes sense, you know? Immediately after this, Stella falls for Ikki because protagonist syndrome. Of course. Ikki then uses his favor from the wager to ask Stella to be his roommate, thus cementing her into the harem. Episode 2. Stella is now accompanying Ikki on his morning routine, where we learn his sister will be transferring into their school. Upon arriving to their class, we meet the teacher and learn more about the 7 Stars Festival Ikki needs to win in order to graduate, consisting of 10 or more battles with one match being held every 3 days, which allows Ikki to use Ito Shura, which can only be used once every 24 hours. After leaving class, a familiar face meets him on the lips, that being his sister Shizuku, who French kisses him on sight. Stella goes apeshit, leading to a fight which lands them both cleaning toilets as punishment for using their magic without permission. After her punishment, Stella returns to Ikki, where she learns of his past. Being the weakest in his family, he was treated as if he never existed, and had to practice alone without an instructor on how to be a knight. Stella recognizes Ikki as an equal, as she had to work her way up from the bottom as well. Episode 3. The next day, Ikki and Stella head to school. When Shizuku asks Ikki to go shopping over the weekend, Stella picks up on the bad vibes and joins them. Shizuku is also accompanied by her roommate Alice. Turns out the mall they're at is targeted on that particular day by a group of heavily armed criminals who take the shoppers hostage. The use of our group's magic is permitted, and they devise a plan to take out the gunmen. This leads to a very nice sequence of animation. Anyway, guns don't work against magic, and since the leader is a blazer with a very weak ability, he's made quick work of by our 4 blazers, but among the hostages was a gunman, of course, they never check, who takes someone hostage, now putting our group in check until an unknown blazer takes out the final gunman. This blazer is named Kirihaya, the previous Star Festival representative, and it's revealed that Ikki's first preliminary match is against him. Episode 4. Ikki prepares for his fight against Kirihaya, and isn't very confident going into the fight. I like this because it fleshes out his internal struggle, because his nerves are getting the better of him on his first official fight. Called to the arena, he meets his opponent face to face, and the battle begins. Kirihaya specializes in long distance combat, the exact counter to Ikki's short range sword style. Ikki exits phase 1 of the fight by tracing back Kirihaya's arrows, but Kirihaya still has a trick up his sleeve by making his arrows invisible. They're impossible to trace back. This leads to Ikki taking a brutal beating, arrow after arrow piercing his limbs, and things don't look too good. Kirihaya uses this advantage to rile up the crowd against Ikki. However, one lone voice calls out to him, Stella screaming words of encouragement to Ikki. Now, calm he stands on 2 feet ready to fight, this time not relying on his eyes but the sounds. Knowing Kirihaya's exact location, Ikki activates Itoshura and closes in, landing the final blow, and cementing his first official victory. The animation in this episode was better than it needs to be and makes me a bit sad there's no season 2. Episode 5. Ikki wins his second preliminary match with ease, leading to envious classmates challenging him, subsequently losing, and asking for lessons. Stella becomes jealous from Ikki's newfound popularity, leading to her keeping distance between them. The next day, the newfound students are taken to a training pool for fan service purposes. Then Stella and Ikki open up to each other and kiss. Nothing too much in the way of story, but you gotta have filler. Episodes 6 and 7. Ikki has received a new groupie who's been stalking him for a week trying to get his attention, named Ayatsuji. Her real motive was to improve her sword technique so she could attain greater strength than her father, a retired swordsman known as the Last Samurai. After some fan service and a training montage, she is drastically improved, and they all head to a diner to celebrate. However, a few bad apples ruin their meal after recognizing Ayatsuji, and proceed to harass Ikki. He doesn't retaliate in fear of being expelled, and it was a good call too because the student council was present in that diner at that exact moment. They all head back to campus for the night and Stella asks who they were, but before Ayatsuji can answer, the next match is announced. It's between herself and Ikki, so she runs off without a word. Ayatsuji, knowing she can't win, devises a plan to sabotage the match beforehand. Calling Ikki to the roof of the school, Ayatsuji tries to commit suicide by jumping off of the building, which forces Ikki to use Itoshura, his 24-hour technique. This creates tension because we aren't informed on Ayatsuji's ability. If Ikki were trapped in a corner, he would not be able to rely on Itoshura. With 10 hours left till the match, Ikki has no choice but to persevere with the handicap. The match has arrived and Ikki is in good enough shape to fight, but without his ace in the sleeve, he can't end the fight quick as he'd like. Ayatsuji shows off her ability, being pre-placed sword strikes planted around the arena as traps. Obviously this is against the rules, but nobody seems to care. Ikki beats that bitch into submission anyway and spares her. He starts simping immediately though and asks if she needs help. Breaking down crying, she says yes. Episode 8. On the way to Ayatsuji's dojo, we learn the tale of the Last Samurai's final battle that comatosed him. Challenged by a blazer gang leader named Kurando, he loses the ownership of his dojo after a brutal beatdown. This leads to Ikki challenging the dojo run by Kurando, where magic is permitted upon the dojo master's approval. The battle starts off heavily in Kurando's favor as his ability is unknown. However, after figuring out Kurando's spastic movement patterns take a toll on his stamina, Ikki executes the Last Samurai's final technique, who wasn't able to use it in the original battle because of his old age. I like the animation here, but Kurando's ability of speed feels kinda lazy with what the concept of his sword is. This leads to Kurando leaving the dojo as he got to see what he was waiting for, and proclaims that he'd fight Ikki again at the battle festival. Episode 9. Ikki and Stella are sent with the student council to clean the school training camp. While there, an armada of regenerative earth dolls are sent to eradicate Ikki and Stella. Overwhelmed even with the help of the student council, the president arrives, Toda Toka, ranked number 1 in the entire school and placed in the top 4 of the last battle festival. With her lightning magic Raikiri, she easily defeats the user by tracing back the magic line, stopping the unending waves. This sets up Ikki's eventual goal as he will have to surpass her in order to win the battle festival and graduate. But in a twist, the next match that's decided is Shizuku versus Toka. Episode 10. We open the battle of Shizuku and Toka. Both fighters are equally matched at long range, which gives Shizuku a chance to go on the offensive. However, after Toka closes the distance using her ability Nukiyashi, which allows Toka to disappear from her opponent's line of sight, the match starts to heavily favor Toka as the victor. Shizuku comes up with a last-ditch effort, utilizing her water clones to form her most concentrated attack, going for the surprise strike. However, Toka gets the read and activating Raikiri right before Shizuka swings. Shizuka is knocked to the floor unconscious and Toka wins. Episode 11 and 12. A gossip article starts to float around about Ikki and Stella being in an indecent relationship. Stella, being a foreign princess, catches Ikki a case and subsequently incarcerated. However, he is still able to participate in the selection matches while incarcerated. Ikki gets 4 straight wins to keep his promise with Stella, but his final opponent is Toka. The day of the final bout has arrived. Ikki is nowhere to be seen though. We find out he's been forced to walk back to campus on his own. With the encouragement of his Nakama, he makes it back ready to face Toka. Ikki activates Ito Shura immediately, going for a straight head-on attack. Toka knows she can dodge, but she faces him head-on anyway. The opening starts to play, the animation gets really fluid, the climax has come to this final strike. Mano y mano. Man to woman. Silence follows. A katana has shattered, and Toka has fallen. Ikki stands victorious. I know it's obvious this would happen, but all the beats hit at the perfect moments, creating a hyped up sequence that makes you cream, dog. Ikki ran the race and beat his case, and got first place for the preliminaries. I rate this some premium top quality trash.